WagerTalk one-day power pass, you receive every play from every betting consultant for one full day at the ridiculously discounted price of just $149. What's better than spending the day watching and following a great slate of games? Watching, following, and winning those games. Get every WagerTalk expert and every game they release for that day.
Hey guys, welcome in. Can't believe it. It is Friday here, and it is time for another edition of the College Basketball Tip-Off Show, powered by WagerTalk.com. As we've got, we got a boatload of games here tonight. Over 150 universities, schools in action here tonight. We've got a couple of games we're going to break down for you, and we're going to do it with three of the most profitable handicappers at WagerTalk.com here when it comes to college hoops. Steve Merrill in the house, as is Tony Mejia, and of course, Tony Finn, when he's not sleeping upright in a recliner. He's actually joining us on shows for a change, which is always good. Steve Merrill, my friend, welcome in. College basketball is upon us, and you were number one total profits there, college basketball last year. You crushed it. Off to a really good start again this year. I understand you have an opportunity as well for folks to hop on board with you in college hoops. What's been going on? Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons we finished number one overall last year at WagerTalk.com in college basketball is because of that monster 25-7, 78% start for the first 2 months of the season, all the way November, December into mid-January last year, went 25-7. Got the party started right Tuesday night with Kansas, a double-digit winner. 100% this year, 1-0. We're going to make it 2-0. I've got another steamroller blowout tonight on Friday, so it's not too late to get on board my college basketball bets, number one ranked at WagerTalk.com, and save big. CBB $4.99 gets you the next 5+ months, the full season, for just $4.99, including that strong best bet tonight. CBB $4.99. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
All right, I love that. And Tony Finn, I hate to even bring you up here, but I'm going to do it because we haven't seen you. But you too also crushed it again last year when it came to college hoops. So what's been going on here, my man, and what do you got going at WagerTalk.com tonight?
Tonight I have the NBA's not a bit, but for college, I was just doing my final analysis. I have 2 plays for tonight. I've only released 2 this year. I'm 1-1. I cashed last night with a straight up call on UC Riverside. Okay, so maybe not straight up call on UC Riverside, but I did take UC Riverside in the 10 points, and that game was really never in doubt as far as coverage goes. But the last shot was, if you're watching the game, was quite remarkable. Already craziness in college basketball. Other than that, let's have a good season. Let's pick some winners today. I look forward to being on the show whenever you invite me.
Yeah, which won't be very often, I can tell you that right now. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. We love you here, without a doubt. And Tony Mejia, my friend, talk to us. What is new and exciting in the Tony Mejia world? Did you actually call that shot last night, UC Riverside against Arizona State? Was that part of the handicap when you were in there?
No, we had the under, though, so we were happy with that. No overtime. And I saw that shot made Good Morning America, so people are in the college hoop spirit. Went 2-0 last night, rode the Merrimack Zone against NJIT, the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Hit the under there as well. So 2-0 day. We're going to pick our spots, but it's interesting the way this unfolds because college basketball doesn't want to conflict with college football early. So we got big Friday nights, big Tuesday nights. Obviously, the college football slate is going to be packed tomorrow. The World Cup qualifying day today, so I'm going to be busy there. And NBA, I'm 20-8 on Friday nights for the regular season so far. So we have to cater to the customers there as well. So another NBA show later on this afternoon, and beyond that, just typing away and picking hopefully winners. So very busy.
All right, very busy it is here, guys. So why don't we start in, because we got a couple of very interesting matchups here tonight, and I can't think of a better place to start than a couple of heavyweights here with Villanova taking on UCLA. Opens up as UCLA to Bruins 3.5 points there as a favorite. Their total at 138.5. This is going to be certainly part of the degenerate late night special here tonight on the East Coast. 11:30 tip-off. Steve Merrill. Boy, Talking about two programs that are going to do battle. It is a heavyweight fight. Who do you like in it?
Yeah, I mean, it's early in the season. Obviously, a lot of unknowns with a lot of these teams. These players are so young in November. We're talking about 18, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds at most nowadays in college basketball. Maybe a little bit older this year since everyone's coming back from the COVID season for all these teams. But can't gain too much from the first games for these two teams earlier in the week on Tuesday. Villanova crushed Mount St. Mary's by 40. They were a 25.5-point favorite. UCLA, they won by 37 against Cal State Bakersfield. They were a 23-point favorite. So both teams did what they should. Offensively, like you said, they both did well, 90-plus points, over 50% shooting for both teams. I do think the situational setup favors UCLA with this late West Coast game. Villanova has to travel in just a couple days out west. With that said, though, I think Villanova is going to probably be the better team this season. They're a constant year in and year out. They're basically a national title contender. And I felt like UCLA was a little bit of an overrated tournament team last year. So with not too much to go on early in the season here, I'll side towards what I think is definitely a live dog. In fact, Villanova is a live dog probably in any game they play. And that'd be the way I'd lean in this one, getting the 3.5.
All right, going to lean Villanova here. What do you think, Mejia? Should be an interesting one. We're going to get a lot of points, low points. We know how slow some of them like to play there at Villanova.
Yeah, and the number is creeping up. So we're into 140 now. I see a 140.5 offshore. So keep climbing because I like that under. I think that Villanova, they get Colin Gillespie back. He looked good the other night. Got hurt late last season, and that was a big blow, obviously, for their chances to really to make some noise in the tournament. He's their point guard. He would probably be a pro right now if he hadn't gotten hurt. Maybe might have snuck into that first round or been a second round guy that teams would have clung on to. But he's running the show for Jay Wright and gives them an opportunity to win immediately at Pauley. It's a situation at Villanova where they lose Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. He's actually starting games for the Thunder now. Such a versatile big man. So they've got to replace him. They have Justin Moore, Brandon Slater, Caleb Daniels, Eric Dixon, guys that were on the fringe last year that need to step up because it's basically Samuels and Gillespie that are the mainstays. So there's depth there. UCLA considered to be one of the deepest teams in college basketball this year, bring almost everybody back from that Final Four group. No Riley today. Cody Riley out with a sprained MCL. So one of their few additions, Rutgers transfer Miles Johnson, will be counted on to really fill that void in the post. But again, his appearance in this one also really steers me towards the under because he's one of college basketball's better shot blockers, a 7-footer, and he's dreadful at the free throw line, as we remember most of that Rutgers team was all of last season. So, hopefully we get some missed free throws. I think it's a race to 70. It'll be a tight game, and I like the under.
All right, going to be leaning the under there. It's an interesting game to bet here, Tony Finn. Do you have a lean on one of these teams to win outright, or are you looking at points?
This is my best bet for the day, so I'll save most of this for our best bet segment. But I reiterate pretty much everything that both of my esteemed colleagues have mentioned about this game, and I agree. Listen, I am one of those that wrote and talked about UCLA being a little bit fortuitous at the end of the season. We'll talk more about that in the best bet segments.
All right, there you go. We'll hold on to that there, guys. Again, 11:30 Eastern Time tip-off tonight for Villanova taking on UCLA. We are going to move on, though, to another game out west. How about San Diego State taking on BYU? And BYU, -3 to open up here, 135.5 is the total. And Mejia, what do you think? You're looking at a under in this situation, too, as well, or do you like a side?
No, I like a side. I think I'm going to take the points here with San Diego State. They lost Matt Mitchell and a couple other guys from last season, but they bring defense to the forefront at all times. So I think that they'll be able to clamp down once they take that first punch from BYU at the Marriott Center. Got to survive that. Certainly, it's going to be one of the top atmospheres in college basketball year in and year out in Provo. So got to survive that. But yeah, once you get into the final 35 minutes or so, defense wins, and certainly San Diego State plays defense as well as anybody. They picked up Cal wing Matt Bradley, who's a really one of the more muscular guards in college basketball. He looks like he should be playing in the NBA. He made immediate contributions the other night in a blowout win. And I think the fact that BYU is going to be without their starting center, Richard Harward, is going to be an issue in this game for them. So if you're San Diego State, you clamp down on Alex Barcelo. Force anybody else to beat you. Certainly there'll be some candidates there with BYU playing at home, but ultimately you try to hang around and win this game late. I think they'll pull this out outright, so I'm taking the points.
All right, he's going to take the points there. What do you think, Tony Finn? How you looking at this one between the Aztecs and BYU? You got a side? You got a total?
I'm going to stay with my first instinct on this game was when I just saw the game was a matchup. Pardon me. Quite a few weeks ago, that at this time of the year, I would absolutely have a strong lean to the under between these two. BYU is a very good defensive team. However, this San Diego State defense is elite, or can be elite if they're healthy, and especially in this situation early in the season. It was a tough blow that Richard Hayward, who's sidelined indefinitely with a knee injury for the Cougars. He was a big part of that defense, and he may be the difference tonight. You have to go with San Diego State. I don't know how much you guys put on comparisons early in the season, but the San Diego State team did come up with a win against Riverside, who was fairly impressive last night against Arizona State. So, again, I know one of my colleagues here, I think it was the other Tony was under in that game. I like the under, south of the total, in this BYU and San Diego State matchup. All
right. What do you think here, Steve? You think 135.5 as an open? Are you leaning towards the under, or do you like the side better in this matchup?
No, I'll make it a clean sweep. Tony has done it again. We can't say the third Tony. That'd be a copyright violation. But I'm agreeing with the under here. Like San Diego State, it's one college basketball for me, guys. My main handicapping tool is all about pace. And what I'd like to look for is when you have a fast versus slow. And I'm a big believer that 9 times out of 10, you can slow down a fast team. It's very hard to speed up a slow team. And San Diego State's a good defensive team, good half-court basketball team. Tony brings up Tony Finn, that is. They both bring up excellent points. But Tony Finn mentioned how the Riverside showing last night, we do have to be very nimble this first week of college basketball because we're learning on the fly, basically. And it does look like Riverside could be a play-on team. Dave Koken mentioned that here on the show yesterday with this show, that a lot of sharp bettors are looking at Riverside this season. So that was some good insight from the legend himself, Smoking Dave Koken. And I think that means San Diego State's 66-53 win as a 12.5-point favorite on Tuesday night is a little more impressive than we realized. Holding them to 53 is a solid showing. And that was a very slow pace. I mean, the teams combined shot 47 and 39% on Tuesday night, and they got to a mere 119. So that was a slow down game. We've got the altitude factor. Let's not forget about that in Provo here. That's not going to help scoring in the second half. Another reason why San Diego State will not want to speed things up. I think under 135.5 makes a lot of sense. Surprisingly, there's been no movement on the side or total in this game. Open 3, 135.5, and that's where it stands. So I still think there's value with the under.
All right, still leaning towards the under. The unders have it here so far there with BYU taking on San Diego State. We got one more game we're going to touch base on. And, of course, this too, the late night degenerate special, 11 o'clock Eastern time out west. Oregon taking on SMU, and 6.5 as an open there, 146 is a total. We have seen the line go up a little bit. There were some 7s, even a 7.5 out there for a little while, and we saw this total come down to 144. So it looks like the early market movement here, Steve Merrill, is Oregon and the under. Do you agree with it?
Well, first of all, I'll remind people that Wager Talk News has a ton of college basketball information. Adam Trigger did 20 conference previews alone, and Tokyo Brandon doesn't just do baseball. He actually has a preview for this game, SMU Oregon, on Wager Talk News. You can go to wagertalk.com, click the news tab at the top, and get some in-depth here. And Tokyo Brandon mentioned star guard Will Richardson in his preview, and I totally agree with him. He's one of the best point guards in the country. And one thing we haven't talked a lot about here on the show is how important backcourt play is in modern college basketball. It's a three-point era. It's a guard-oriented era. And I really like to look at strong backcourts out of the gate, guys, early in the season, because they can. It's like returning a quarterback to your football team. We always look for starting, returning quarterbacks in college football early. And having that point guard out there is the quarterback. So it's a very important position here. Both these teams coming off wins, both put up over 80 points in their last game. They both held their opponents to below 66 each. Oregon, of course, was a 28-point favorite against McNeese. They actually did not cover in that game. I'm sorry, SMU was a 28-point favorite against McNeese. Oregon did cover as a slight, did not cover either as a 21-point favorite against Texas Southern. So they both put up over 80. They both won by double digits, but they failed to cover. Looks like a pretty even matchup for me coming in here. I do think Oregon has one of the strongest home courts in the country. So that's something to keep an eye on. And, Joe, we talk about early line moves in college basketball. Usually that's sharp money. The public isn't betting these games too heavy right now. And this line has gone from 6.5 to 7, even 7.5 at some of the sharp offshore books. So I would agree with that move. I think the sharp money is on Oregon. I think a lot of that has to do with the backcourt, the point guard, and also the strong home court for the Ducks.
All right, so he is leaning that way. I like that. What do you think, Tony Mejia? This is an interesting battle here. Chris Durante no longer there. It feels like some of those guys were just there forever, but interesting transfers for this Oregon team this year. What do you think? Did they reload? Are they ready to go?
Yeah, this is one of the most fun matchups because we've got transfers on both sides, and we get to see how it all unfolds. Dana Altman, after the opening win against Texas Southern, which was an NCAA tournament team last year, said he envisions the Ducks being a work in progress until December. So from that standpoint, I don't love laying 7.5 points, but SMU also will be debuting guys this week. Let's break down Oregon's transfers. They got Jacob Young from Rutgers, a playmaker. We remember him. He really had a good season in the Big Ten. Duquesne forward Eric Williams, Syracuse forward Quincy Guerrier, and Oklahoma guard Davian Harmon. So, that's 4 key guys that they'll mix in there next to Will Richardson, the point guard who's back. They lost Omoruyi from the Rutgers transfer, who had a really good season last year. LJ Figueroa, the St. John's transfer, is also gone, in addition to Duarte. So it's a new-look Oregon team. Yeah, they have a home court advantage that few have, but I think SMU can go in there and play with them. Kendrick Davis, the only player in Division I last year to lead a conference in scoring and assists, did that at the American, averaged 19 points and nearly 7.5 assists per game. So you have a guy that's a straw that stirs a drink that will make life easier on all the other transfers. The Weathers brothers, who opened their career at Miami of Ohio, then one of them transferred out, are reunited now in Dallas with SMU. Baylor standout Tristan Clark, a lot of guys remember him. He actually retired because of a knee injury, missed out on winning a national championship, and then is back this year with SMU and debuted nicely. So hopefully he's able to stay healthy. And the Southland Conference Player of the Year a year ago, Zach Nuttall, is part of the Mustangs. So they're kind of loaded. I like Tim Jankovic. I think he keeps this one close. But again, this is one to monitor because these two teams will both be a player in their respective conferences, and they both have a lot of new faces. So even if you don't have a wager on this one, it's almost required viewing. And for the late night degenerates, we're going to take the points back SMU.
All right, going to take the points against Oregon. Tony, Finn, tempo is going to be an interesting one in this way. I don't know if there was anything you could take away for SMU from McNeese State, because I'm fairly certain the 4 of us probably could have given a better game than what McNeese State is. So what do you think here? If fewer possessions, a little more physicality, under, do you agree with that market move?
Yes, I do agree with that market move. In fact, that would be the only direction or container I would consider pushing paper across the counter on in this game tonight. Everything you guys have outlined is absolutely spot on, accurate. I mean, in this game, SMU played arguably, I guess I would rank this team. I don't rank down that far, guys. How about you? They're in the 330s, 320s, 330s of Division I basketball. They're not very good. The way this game played to 81 possessions. 81 possessions. SMU managed, I think it was a 1.05 PPP and allowed a 7.61 PPP. So if that's the kind of game it's going to be, it's not going to be much viewing on my part. I may fall asleep sitting upright in my chair watching it on a monitor. So we'll leave it at that. I will say this. Listen, Kendrick Davis, returning starter for the Mustangs, he's the guy. If you were going to be on the side here and you're looking for a reason to do it, I always early in the season, not only do I lean to unders, but I also lean to experienced point guards. Early in the season, if you have a lot of transfers, a lot of new moving parts, a lot of new pieces, then look to a team that has somebody who knows to some degree that can pick up and be, engineer on the fly and have respect and gain the respect of the new incoming players. So that said, big difference between these two teams. Big difference. Yankovic brought in Marcus Weathers from Duquesne, and as Tony mentioned, Tristan Clark from Baylor. Oregon, I think they're about 1.2 or almost a 1.3 points possession in that 83-66 win over Texas Southern. Not much to really. I can't take anything from the first two games. What I can take is that I would be leaning to the under, and I expect this game to come under the under.
All right, looking towards the under. Make it love it. All right, so it seems everyone's in agreement in that game. Now the fun begins as far as best bets go here. We'll give these guys an opportunity, whether it's one of these games or anywhere on the card here tonight, a game that they have circled up. And Steve Merrill, just a reminder, guys, Steve Merrill, number one in profits last year in college basketball, the ability to hop on a full season right now. For just $4.99, never miss a play. Pretty great opportunity right now. You can do that over at WagerTalk.com. And Steve, tell us your best bet here tonight.
Yeah, Joe, I appreciate you mentioning the CBB 499 promo for the full season. Because of that, I'm going to pick your alma mater, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, as my best bet here. And big look-ahead game for Joe Raineri. This Sunday, Oklahoma State hosts Prairie View A&M, who's Joe's preferred play-on-best bet team on the show this year. So that's a big one. But they got to get by Oakland tonight, and I think they will. Look, Oakland's mid-tier in the Horizon League this year. They did have an impressive on the scoreboard 7-point loss at West Virginia on Tuesday, but be a little careful with that one. West Virginia was just 4 for 21, 19% from three-point range, and Oakland still lost by 7. Meanwhile, Oklahoma State was very impressive. They were a 17.5-point favorite against a capable Texas Arlington team, beat them by 43, almost doubled them up. This is a team playing with a mission. The good news is they have 4 returning starters back from a good 21-9 team last year. The bad news is that one lost starter, of course, was number one pick in the NBA draft, Cade Cunningham. But they got a lot of depth on this team, and I think they're playing with the chip on their shoulder with the possible postseason ban looming overhead and all the other distractions. And I like to play teams early in the season with momentum at home. It's an angle that's worked very well for decades for me. When they blow a team out, they come right back. They stay at home. They usually keep that momentum going. And with Prairie View A&M on deck and then UMass Lowell after that, they don't have much of a look ahead. So they have another reason to win big here. I like Oklahoma State minus 16.5. That game goes at 8 o'clock Eastern Friday night. And don't forget, once again, number one ranked basketball, 25-7 college hoops start last year. Get the full season the next 5 months for just $4.99 complete. CBB 499. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Boom, get it done. Well done there, Steve. All right, Tony Mahia, talk to us here, my man. A lot of different ways you can approach this card here tonight. Is there one that you circled you like a little bit more than the others?
I do. I'll say that, I had a really strong NCAA tournament last year. What was the run? It was something like 23-6 at one point. So kind of righted the ship after a rocky first season at Wager Talk in college hoops. But that is one of my strong points. So looking forward to a great college basketball season, and we got it off to a strong start, with a winning Tuesday and 2-0 yesterday. I'm going with Illinois, Arkansas State going over, and I see that number has dipped from 140 to like 137.5, 138. Ayo Dosunmu, obviously, with the Bulls now. Kofi Cockburn, the big center for Illinois, suspended for the first 3 games. And that, I think, is going to affect this total. I think that the number has dipped a little bit because Illinois beat Jackson State 71-47 in the opener. But they probably will get at least 2 or 3 players back that didn't play in that game just to get those guys ready for the Marquette game on Monday night. It's part of the Gavitt games, nationally televised. And the fact is that they beat Jackson State without Trent Frazier, who's been in college for about a decade. He's dealing with a shoulder issue. Andre Curbelo, who stepped up last year as Dosunmu's running mate, in concussion protocol. He's probably going to come out of that. And another guard, Austin Hutchinson, dealing with a bruised tailbone. I think all of those guys could have played if it was Marquette instead of Jackson State the other night. So I think a couple of those guys play. Arkansas State has multiple guards that can really light it up. Desi Sills, Marcus Eaton, the guy that led all of college basketball in double-doubles among freshmen, Norcha Ormier, is the Arkansas State big man. He should benefit from no Coburn tonight. So I think it'll be more competitive than people anticipate, and therefore will be higher scoring. So I'm going with the over in Illinois and Arkansas State, which is available now 137.5, 138 after opening at 140.
All right, there you go. Love it. Love the angles on it, too, there. That leaves us Tony Finn, and I bet you're going to talk about, UCLA, Villanova. If I had to guess, I would say that's probably where you're going, Tony Finn. Talk to us, man. Tell us why you like this game.
You didn't get the message? I changed most bets in midstream. No, and I want to mention this. I suggest everyone listening, pay attention. Don't buy me. Pay attention to Steve Merrill, Tony Mejia. I'm only number one overall lifetime in college basketball at Wager Talk, but I'm number 3 in all of basketball. So see, that puts me behind these guys, and I'm sure by the end of the season, both of them will have passed me up, and I've been here since the 1800s. So good stuff for both these guys. Yeah, exactly. Yes, I am. I'm on Nova for a couple of reasons. I will make this sweet and long. That makes sense? Sweet and long. Sweet, long, just like Joe likes it. Never mind. First off, Mick Cronin. If you believe Mick Cronin, if you believe that what happened last year in the national championship was who this team is, then you feel differently, think differently, and assess things differently than I do. These are not Mick Cronin guys. I think what he did was amazing. Do you believe Mick Cronin is he going to adjust to the players he has, or is he going to do the same thing he always does? I believe Mick Cronin basketball is Mick Cronin basketball. It's a DNA. It's a Izzo type of basketball. Unless you play to Izzo style, then you're probably not going to be. You may be recruited, may not be welcome, you may not be accepted even in that community. So UCLA comes in with obviously aspirations. I don't buy it. I don't buy anything from the Pac-10 until someone shows me. And Cronin especially. I don't think these are Cronin guys. It's a lot to say this early. Justin Moore made 6 3-pointers, finished 27 points in Tuesday's 91-51 win over Mount St. Mary's. And we all know how good Mount St. Mary's is, and that's a pretty impressive win for Nova. I like Nova in this game. Okay, UCLA lost forward Cody Riley to that MCL sprain. He was 10 points and 5 rebounds per game last year. Doesn't sound like a lot. It was a lot. He was a guy that could fit Mick Cronin's system. Villanova is led by the guy who wins this game tonight. Anytime you get a fifth-year senior, a super senior, Colin Gillespie, leading a team, I don't care who's there. He's the guy you trust in the first week of college basketball. Give me Nova and the points, please.
Sweet and long, huh? Good Lord Almighty. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there was anything sweet about that. It was short as hell long, though. I'll tell you that. My goodness. All right, guys, here we go. If it's sweet, we'll let you know next week. All right, I'm going tonight game with an absolute cure for insomnia in this game. If you like terribly slow basketball, Abilene Christian taking on Texas A&M. Back the under in this one. I think 128. 127.5. You got two offenses that were abysmal in game number one, but they certainly can play some defense, and I don't anticipate we're going to get a lot of offense from either of these two teams tonight. So give me the under. Abilene Christian, Texas A&M here tonight. And there you have it, guys. Steve Merrill, Tony Mejia, and, of course, Tony Finn, sweet and long, all ready to rock and roll here, college basketball. And there is the recap with Mejia going Arkansas State, Illinois over the 137.5. Merrill likes Oklahoma State, just not in the postseason, apparently. Oops. Tony Finn, Villanova, +3.5. And I'm going with the under Abilene Christian, Texas A&M. Guys, certainly appreciate you swinging by here, stopping by. College basketball, it is off and running, and so is the college basketball tip-off show. So make sure you visit these guys at WagerTalk.com here. No reason not to make it a profitable Friday heading into the weekend. And on behalf of Steve Merrill, Tony Mejia, and long and sweet Tony Finn, appreciate the time, guys. Best of luck with your plays this weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday.
Sign up for the free Wager Talk text club to gain access to free plays and exclusive discounts. Just text Wager Talk to 33222 to sign up and get a $10 coupon to use on WagerTalk.com.